So this week we really had an issue that's been bubbling under the surface of the presidential election campaign, particularly on the Republican side, really come to the fore. And that is the central messaging dissonance between Mitt Romney's national campaign, where the central argument is that the economy under Barack Obama's presidency has been uniformly terrible, and that of key swing state Republican governors, where things have actually picked up.
There's been more than 41,000 new jobs created in the private sector, and the unemployment rate, it's the lowest it's been since 2008.
Now, the real picture of the economic recovery, not just nationally, but also at the state level, is much more complex than the slogans or the claims of either side. For example, in Ohio, you have Governor John Kasich, who wants to run on a record of really having turned Ohio's economy around. What he likes to talk about less is the role that the president's auto bailout played in helping turn things around in Ohio. This week, we had a perfect example of that central messaging dissonance between Rick Scott, an unpopular governor in Florida, eager to highlight successes on his watch, and the national campaign of Mitt Romney, who was reported to have asked Rick Scott to tamper down the rosy talk about the economy a little bit because it was getting in the way of the national message.
At a time when we should be gaining momentum in the economy, we're actually seeing us lose a bit of it right now.
Our state is doing extremely well.
Job growth slowed, and this week we learned that the number of job openings has fallen yet again.
Tourism is way up, jobs are up, housing prices are staying stable. If you want to buy a house, now's the time.
Now, I don't think the stories this week about Mitt Romney's campaign and state-level governors having friction between them on what economic messaging should be necessarily hands the Democrats, or indeed the president's reelection campaign, a real weapon. The president still has to run on a national economy of which he's been the primary steward that is still struggling to reach full-on recovery. But I think it does raise the issue on whether or not state-level successes or failures will be more determinative in the way people will actually vote in national elections than the national mood, the national picture, and the overall national health of the economy. There's no doubt that the president has had a pretty mixed economic record. There's been some success, there's been some turnaround, but it's still really struggling to take flight. But the battle over who gets credit for the improving economies in these key swing states really belies the Republican caricature of a president that has done nothing but hold the economy back. The president has either been terrible for the economy or he's overseen some policies that in conjunction with state-level policies have actually started to improve things. It's hard to have things both ways.